Welcome back to the Funded and Closed podcast. I'm your host, Derek Boone, and I'm excited about this podcast, especially today, because I'm building with literally 4 of my business partners at this point. And this podcast I put together specifically for individuals like you who want to learn how to make more money, build wealth, and just do more than what you're doing right now, but you don't actually know how to do it. So I want to put together a platform where you can learn directly from us for free, and you can start buying businesses, buying real estate, building credit, doing all the things that you know you want to do, but you just don't have access to. So today and always, I only have guests on that I personally do business with. If you see anybody on there, it's not somebody that paid, it's not somebody that just popped in. Literally people I've personally made some money with. So today, like none other, we have literally done a lot of business together. I'm excited to build with not only just my business partners, my friends. So that's my little intro. So you got it's clean now.
So definitely, before we jump into the game, before we jump into the wealth building, I do want to get a little bit of a backstory on each one of you guys. You guys got crazy, amazing backstories. So just a little bit, not too long of a backstory because we want to jump into the game. But yeah, just tell the people, who you are and what was you like. What was Joy? What was Derek? What was Ramel before the success?
Okay, so I'm Joy. I was a business attorney turned entrepreneur. Ventured off into salon franchises, had about 10 locations, and ventured off into the auto industry, having a collision shop, dealer shop, and insurance agency, and just did business for several years. Going through a divorce, husband locked me out of everything, which had me turn to the online space to make money to pay some rent, and just took off in the online world. So I think I've been successful for a while, but I guess before the
I think because
my microphone. Before the success, I was just someone who was hungry. Someone who was like, I wanted to be able to provide the life I needed for myself, independent of anyone. So I was just someone who was always a go-getter and a hustler. Oh, I got all these.
So my name is Derek Boone. I'm a real estate investor in Philadelphia. Before I was in real estate, I worked at a retirement home called the Hill at White Marsh. Anybody in Philly, Plymouth meeting. My job was to serve the elderly. So I worked 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. and then I did the shift 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. And then I was doing an overnight shift for pretty much 2 weeks. So I lived at that job, and then at the end of the 2 weeks, my check was like $1,400. So at that point, I was like, this ain't gonna work. But I realized from that taxes are real. The more hours you work, the more they take out. And then the second thing I realized that your job isn't gonna pay you what they feel you worth and not what you actually worth. So from that point on, I said, I didn't have a college degree. I didn't have a corporate background. I didn't have good credit. So I said, you know what, the next best thing I can do is get into real estate, but real estate sales. So I went to an event. The guy basically said, you should give this real estate agent thing a try. I gave it a try. That first year, I sold about 20-something houses, made $100,000 that first year. The next year, doubled it and doubled it. And then I just went into real estate wholesaling. Then I went from real estate wholesaling to investing. Only reason I went into investing and stopped wholesaling is because I had a month. Anybody in wholesaling right now or in real estate? I had a month where all my transactions just terminated because the buyers backed out. So I just said, you know what, I want to get into full-time investing. That way I can't back out of my own deals. I'm going to be my own buyer. And that's what we transition where we are right now.
Clap it up for that.
Yeah, my name is Ramel, New Worlds, Brooklyn, born and raised. Where Brooklyn at? Yeah, so my story is pretty much like anybody else. I did everything that they told us to do, right? I went and graduated college with my bachelor's in business management communications. I got a full-time job working at Pepsi Beverages Company, and they gave me this pay of $55,000 a year. And everybody around me, my friends, like, you made it. Raise your hand if somebody said you made it because you was making a couple dollars. You like, that ain't it, right? I said, I'm worth $55 million, right? It's a different conversation. But, my dad, he played a critical part in my success and just really my development because when I was very, very young, he made me read this book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Who's familiar with that book? Yep, so I read this book when I was like 9, 10 years old. He used to make us do these book reports. But at that point, I learned the difference between being rich and poor. And it wasn't about the physical money in your pocket. It was really about the mindset, right? So at a very young age, I had this desire to become an entrepreneur. So even when I was working in corporate, I was investing in myself, investing in mentorship, buying properties, right? Just building my portfolio. Made 6 figures, my very first real estate deal, just continue to build, over the last 12 years. Right now we have $10 million in self-storage. And really, I'm just here just to kind of impact more people so that we could actually do the exact same thing.
Clap it up for that. And see, that's exactly why I like to start with the backstory, just so you guys can see that, listen, you ain't hear not one person say, yo, somebody gave me $1 million, or I got a handout, or I got some type of, whatever. Everybody literally had that hunger to stay at it long enough to become successful. Mm-hmm. So first thing I do want to jump into is the wealth building part, right? So it's one thing to, accumulate all this success, get all this money, but it's another thing to keep it. You know what I mean? So I know each one of you guys do something unique. Boon's in real estate. Joy's a business attorney, teach you how to structure your business, and Ramel is in storage facilities and all of those things. So definitely, what are y'all individual tips on wealth building?
All right, so I'll kick it off. So yeah, that's a fact. So raise your hand if you have life insurance. That's a good thing. And if that's a really, really good thing. And if you don't have life insurance, it's very important. But what most people don't know is that, when they hear life insurance, they think it's only for your death, and that's not true. It's life insurance for a reason, and it has living benefits to it and different things that you can utilize while you're living. So when it comes to a wealth building standpoint, one of the vehicles that I utilize is insurance. So whenever I, sell a property or make a large lump sum of money in any of my businesses, I go put it in insurance, right? Now you got different types of insurance policies, right? You got whole life, IULs, you got term, and we use them for different purposes. We'll go in detail with it, but insurance is super important because not only is it the easiest way to be able to transfer wealth, right? So if you have $1 million policy, and believe it or not, as little as $100 a month, you can get $1 million policy. So we know that at some point we're gonna pass away. How would you feel if your parents passed you down $1 million, right? Or how would you feel if you passed down your children $1 million? So that's just the easiest way to be able to pass down wealth, but we also have different policies where we're able to leverage it as our own bank. Right, so I will put money into a policy, and then I will go get what is called a life equity line of credit. Raise your hand if you ever heard of that. All right, so that means I'm giving y'all some game. All right, cool. So you go and get what is called a life equity line of credit, and it's a line of credit, and it's backed by your insurance. You just collateralize. So in the event that you don't, in the event that you don't pay it back, they know that they're gonna get the money from your insurance. Obviously, we have the intention to always invest and pay back, but now we're able to double our money. So for me, I'm parking my cash into this vehicle that's gonna grow, that's gonna be protected, that's also not gonna be taxed on the growth, but I'm gonna leverage it to go get more money from the banks to continuously buy more assets and build more wealth. So that's just one of the vehicles that I utilize.
For me, you guys know I'm the real estate guy. For me, wealth building is just buying assets. I like to make it super simple. I want to say 2 things. One, just buying assets, but a lot of you guys may watch Instagram, you see somebody buying a 20-unit apartment building, or you see somebody going ahead and spending $1 million on a property or doing all these big things. I'm going to be honest, you guys can start building wealth by buying a $100,000 property, a $200,000 property, $300,000. I just bought my son a property. I paid $36,000 for it. I'm putting $60,000 into it, but now it's going to be worth $160,000, $170,000. It only cost me $8,000 out of pocket. Like, wealth building doesn't have to seem like this big thing or you need $1 million out of pocket to go and do this stuff. It doesn't cost as much as we make it seem. And on top of that, real estate grows 4 to 5% by itself. You don't have to do nothing. I have properties where it was worth $150 a couple years ago, now they're worth $200. Now they're worth $220. You just have to go ahead and make sure you're buying right and just buy it and let it do its thing. But on top of that, you guys are getting rental income as it's coming in. Real quick, just shout out. How much some of y'all car notes? Just shout out some numbers. 800. Now everybody free and clear. Come on. What's some of y'all car notes? Somebody say 800. I'm gonna just go with the 800. So I have one property right. I have a couple, but one property right now. It cash flows $850. So people look at financial freedom and they look at it like this big thing. Financial freedom just means I'm free from finances. I'm financially free. I'm free from finances. So now, if you go ahead and have a property covering your finances, your car note, that's one less thing you have to worry about. Now that's $800 you can keep. Or if you don't have a car note, which is majority of y'all seem like, now that's money that can go into a bank account, or that's money that can go into a life insurance policy, or that's money that can go into a high yield savings account. These little things add up over time. And now once you have 2 properties, 3 properties, now imagine you getting $2,500 net coming in every single month. Now we talking, now that's covering your rent or that's covering your mortgage, and it just builds on top of there. I have a property, I literally pulled money up 2 times. I pulled $80,000 one time, pulled $60,000 one time, and I still have a lot of equity in it. So that's what's wealth building about, where I have a savings account just ready and willing for me to pull out when that time comes.
So I'm a little old school. So I believe in living below your means, so that you can always acquire assets. So in all of my businesses, I always owned everything. I don't like debt. I don't like debt. I don't like owing nobody. So at our car dealership, we owned over 100 cars, collecting notes every single month on the cars. We were the bank. So I believe in having assets, because if anything happens, I can always liquidate to weather the storm. So live below your means and always try to own all of your stuff. So just in case, you always have to leverage that. Or you can sell it, or you just want to be able to have excess cash. So when an opportunity comes, you're able just to execute, not have to go find the funding.
That was really good. Yes, yes. So one of the questions that I really want to ask is, what's the toughest conversation that every family member need to be having right after this event is over?
That's a good question.
I think the toughest conversation that the family needs to have is, what are we willing to sacrifice to get to that next level?
Before we get into this amazing episode, I'm calling all business owners, coaches, entrepreneurs who got a great product or a service, but guess what? You're having a hard time selling it. You aren't getting any leads. Your calendar is dried up. Podcasting is the tool you need. It's a 24/7 organic lead machine that you need to have in your business.
Absolutely. Having a marketing plan, some kind of way on how to find your clients within your business, is the most important way on how you're going to be able to grow and hit all your financial goals. Whether your goal is $100,000, whether your goal is $500,000, or even $1 million plus, you need more eyeballs. A lot of people are finding that ads are way too expensive for their budget. Also, another problem is a lot of people are over relying on other people to grow their business. So I'm talking about word of mouth and referrals. Those are not reliable strategies on how you're going to grow your business. If you want to learn exactly how to market your business and be seen by millions on top of millions of people, go ahead and click the link down below. I want to invite you guys to our masterclass, where we're showing you strategies on how we was able to grow a huge platform within less than 2 years with over 300,000 plus followers across all channels. If you're looking to learn how to market your business and be seen by your dream clients, join us in this masterclass. Enjoy the rest of this episode, because this one is going to be a banger.
We all want to go to that next level, right? But what are we willing to do to sacrifice? See, you have to go through a seed planting season. That season where you got to just pull back. We aren't going on vacation. Christmas gonna be us just smiling at each other. We're not doing these lashes nails. Let's go through a whole year being as lean as possible, so we can use this excess money to invest. A lot of times we think we got to have a whole bunch of money to start something. I got to have $1 million to invest. I got to have $1 million to start a business. No, if you just don't go to Starbucks, make your own coffee at home. If you just make it as lean as possible, but only for a season. I'm about to be lean for this season so I can have as much capital as possible to be able to put in different buckets, so that when it's time to have that overflow, I've already prepared.
I think the toughest conversation is just having a conversation. What I honestly believe that everybody leaving here should go and talk to their mom, their dad, their family members, and just ask them, what is it really looking like? What does your finances look like? What do you really have going on? Because a lot of us aren't having a conversation because we think they got it already. Like, I'm not going to ask Ramel, what is your finance already? Because I think he got it already. I'm not going to ask Joy, what does her stuff look like? What do you need help with? Because I think you got it already. And I think that's what, especially in the Black culture, we have this thing like, oh, they have a good job. Everything's fine over there. They got everything going on. It's good. I don't need we can go over their house. We can hang out over their house, or we can borrow money from them, but we don't even know that they actually drowning. So I think actually having that real conversation, like, Mom, like, I know you always make sure the light's on, but what is it really looking like? Because you can't fix something that you don't know. One of my mentors said that a doctor can't cure you if they don't know your symptoms. So we actually had a conversation. So like, I'm not trying to get too much of your business, but how's things going? Do you need help with something? Like, do you have savings? Do you have a life insurance? Do you have these things? Because now we could pinpoint what's the first plan of action. Okay, you don't have life insurance. That's the first thing we're gonna work on. Oh, you don't have a 750 credit score. That's the next thing we're gonna work on. Oh, you don't have, 10,000. I'll say, okay, that's the next thing we're working on. But if we don't know it, how we gonna fix it?
What's up? And just to add to that, one of the things that I would say the toughest thing that we need to talk about when it comes to our family is really getting rid of that ego and that pride, right? Because that's really what holds us back from being able to get together. Right? We don't want to come together because I don't want to be the person that's going, sign on the dotted line for my credit, or I'm not the person that I would. Like, nobody want to play small, right? When we partner together, it don't matter. One day, Joy, we gonna pass you the rock, and you gonna run the play. All right, then one day I gotta step up, and Boom gotta step up. But as long as we're gonna win championships, that's what it's about. And I think we need to have that conversation because we have more pride than we have money. It don't make no sense. So I think it starts there. Once we get rid of that pride and that ego, we say we're willing to do whatever it takes together for however long it takes, then that's going to be the start where everything else is going to fall into place.
That's really good. That's really good. So another question that I wanted to follow up on is moving into 2026, what are like some of the top things that we should be doing now to be able to prepare, our wealth moving forward? Like what's some of those moves that people should be making starting now to have a successful 2026?
Great question. Glad you asked that. So one of the major things that's happening right now before our eyes is one of the biggest wealth transfers that's happening. And as we see what's going on in the economy, like the cost of living is going up, inflation, tariffs, and a lot of small business owners are struggling, right? Even like big companies, you look at Rite Aid, CVS. I've seen Starbucks close like 430 stores over the last 8 months. And if we pay attention to what's going on, a lot of businesses, they can't sustain, right? So one of the things that I teach is how to buy already profitable businesses or buy small businesses that need some value add, right? You see something that you can implement. So what we're doing is buying mom and pop businesses, and then we're implementing digital marketing strategies and AI strategies. That is the blueprint. So for example, I go and buy a mom and pop self-storage business, right? And then I go and implement AI and different technology and resources into it to scale that business, and I'm able to weather that storm. Because a lot of times when we invest, we want to get the return right away. I need to get a flip in 30 days. I need to get a flip in 90 days. That's not what it is, right? We have to be okay with, okay, let me invest. I'm going to buy this business. I'm going to buy this piece of real estate, and then let me wait 3 to 5 years when everything corrects itself and the market is back where it needs to be. That's where the wealth is built. And the people that really do this, that have the most money, that's willing to invest and just stay down for this period of time, in 5 years from now, you'll see you in a much different spot, right? So that's one of the things that I would definitely say going into 2026, let's target distressed properties, value add businesses, assets, and let's be willing to dump all our money in and be okay with not getting a return right away, because in 5 years, we want to see all the benefits.
Honestly, to answer your question, I think what she said is the most important thing. Like, live below your means. So when a painter paints, he puts down a blue tape and he preps for a while. He gets everything going. He might spend an hour. He might spend a whole day just prepping. Then he comes in with the blaster spray and he just sprays everything. I think right now is your prep season. Like next year, maybe be your spray season. Buy everything, do everything. Right now, maybe your prep season. So I need to be learning as much as I need to learn. I need to be saving as much as I can save. I can be getting my credit up as much as I can. Applying for as much credit as I can. Maybe going ahead and just cutting down some expenses. There's a couple of things that I want right now that I can go and get, but I'm like, this is not the time because I see a lot of opportunities coming up. So it's just to the point where right now, to answer your question, is like, let me go ahead and just cut back on some unnecessary expenses and let me save. And people look at, my trainer said this. He was like, because he said something, he said, you want to go to the Canelo fight? And I'm like, man, them tickets like $2,000-$3,000. I'm not a big enough boxing fan to do that. He said, but, you going on the dinners, $200-$300. That stuff add up to $3,000 at the end of the month. I'm like, dang, you got a point. So cutting back on some of these things, these little $100, these $200, they add up. Before you know it, you might have just saved $3,000 by just cutting back on some of the dates or some of the outings or some of the things that you're doing. And before you know it, going into 2026, you might have an extra $5,000. You might have an extra $10,000. You might even actually more than that. Or you might have $100,000 in credit because you actually applied for the credit but didn't use it. A lot of y'all applying for credit and then swiping it the second you get it. No, I'm just stacking up my deck. So when Ramel puts a storage facility online and said, this is an opportunity, you only need $100,000 out of pocket to get involved. You're like, well, I got 60 on the credit. I got 20 in the savings. Then I might bring a partner in for the rest. But if you don't have yourself in position when the moves come out, now you're trying to spring.
Are we gonna clap for that for Booney or what? Now come on. No, don't do Booney like that. I think 2026, you gotta be ready to dominate, right? So whenever there's a shift coming, some people are about to get hit by the shift, and some people are ready to be able to jab and swing and then go. So number one, you personally or your business want to be as lean as possible. Now is the time. Do you have too many employees? Is all of the SKUs that you're selling, are they all hitting? If not, whatever is not winning, just take it off your shelf, right? So you want to get as lean as possible personally, and then in our business, what's working and what's not. Next is the time to invest, but invest in you. So mentorship, knowledge, learning a new skill, so that as we're coming into 2026, you're coming locked and loaded. You aren't coming in as the same person. You're coming in knowing another skill set, another business opportunity, another tool that I can use. I may not be able to execute it right now, but I at least know about X, Y, and Z. So when the opportunity comes, I can seize it. A lot of times, it's not that we never had the opportunity. It's when it came, we didn't see it as an opportunity, and we let it go by. So by investing in yourself in knowledge, like I am in taking mentorship. I'm learning a new thing. I'm like Ramel, get this storage thing together. I'm trying to have as many new tools in my toolbox. So come 2026, I've already mastered them. I've learned them, and now I'm ready to execute.
Clap it up for that. So I wanted to ask you guys, because I'm pretty sure, it's somebody out here who got their first $1,000, $10,000, or maybe even $100,000 saved up. How could they use their limited resources to be able to multiply that into a different income stream? What are some strategies that you guys use?
Well, I'm the business person, so I'm going to say start a business. But I'm going to say start your business on a shoestring budget. Don't go ball out and get everything. Start it. Look bootleg, just get the business out there and see what do the streets want. What of your product or service is really working? And then once you know what everyone's liking, then take that excess money and then go 10x what you know is working. But the money just sitting there isn't going to do anything. But you want to make sure that you know exactly what you're doing before you can 10x something.
So I do got to ask you too, Joy, to just add on top of that. So for people out there, that want it, they either need to start your business or you're looking to start it, what are some ways that you could structure your business in a way where, you could be seen by these banks as someone that they want to lend to?
So the perfect business structure is going to be, of course, having your LLC or corporation. So I would say if y'all don't have an LLC or corporation now, go get one now. And then whenever you start your business, it's now at least aging. You want to make sure that we have a business address on our LLC or corporation, so not your home address, not a P.O. box. You also want to make sure that we have our business bank account and that the income of the business reflects in the business bank account. So my cash heavy businesses, make sure that you're putting all your deposits in the business bank account. If you need the money, just transfer it to your personal bank account. You want to have an online presence. So when someone Googles your business, it should look like Walmart. So we should have a website. We should have a social media page. It should look like something, right? You should have a nice branded logo, a business email address, not Gmail, not Gmail. $1 million and $1 billion businesses start in garages, right? They all start small. So a lot of times we think, oh, I just sell peach cobblers. Baby, Marie Callender's made millions of dollars, had restaurants up and down California selling a pie, right? So anything that you sell can be a multi-million, $1 billion business if you start it off correctly. So having your LLC, EIN, business bank account, your operating agreement or your bylaws if you have a corporation, making sure that you're filing your annual report to keep your LLC or corporation active, making sure that we aren't co-mingling our personal and business expenses. So you have to be totally separate from the business. If you got personal expenses coming out that bank account, you're not separate from the business, so therefore they're going to pierce your corporate veil. Whatever are the licenses, insurance, permit that your industry requires, having all of that. And then each business has to have its own LLC and everything else. So every single business stands on its own. Also, by having them stand on their own, you're able to see which one's making money and which one's not. A lot of times we think the bigger something is, the more money we're making, but a lot of times the smaller the club, the crunk of the party. A lot of times when you scale, if you scale too fast, you may have 3 that are winning, but you got 2 that are bleeding. So you're having to throw good money on bad debt, and now you're just in that hamster wheel. If I had my monkey, I would pull it out. And you just sitting there. I just can't get off this wheels because you're bleeding over here. So all the profits here are going over here. If you cut that loose, you'll be winning. So when everything can stand on its own, you're able to see, oh, shoot, this isn't doing good. I'll go ahead and 86 her and then keep these going.
That's game right there. She just taught you how to structure your business.
So you said for someone that's may have their first 10,000, 100,000 saved, how to maximize it. I think, honestly, is first thing first is getting a mentor. Getting someone that actually knows what they're doing already. The first house I rehabbed, I did it in 60 days because I went and got a mentor first. I didn't lose no money. I made money on that deal because I found somebody that was already doing this and I asked them a million questions. So I made sure I won on that first property I rehabbed. But then the second thing I would say is utilize the money that you have and leverage that. Like banks, lenders, they want to lend more to people that actually have something sitting. They look at you as not as much risk because now you have 10,000 sitting or you have 100,000 sitting or whatever you have sitting. Okay, they actually don't really need me. They actually have something. And now they're looking at your account as, okay, we can go ahead, for example, with the life insurance stuff, we can actually use this as collateral and leverage that so you can go in and get access to more money. A lot of banks will fund. If you talk to anybody that's a real funding person, they'll say put 1,000, put 500, put some type of money in the account before you actually go ahead and apply for any funding. So they can see that you actually have some type of motion coming in. Like she said, money is going into the account. So they see, okay, they're not trying to rob Peter to pay Paul. They actually have money to pay Peter and Paul. They just don't want to use their own money. So that's the second thing I would say. And the third thing, like just to really piggyback off everything she said is don't scale too fast. Early on in my career, I did a couple good transactions. I did a couple good wholesale deals. I did a couple good moves in real estate, and I had hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting. Myself was like, look, I'm going big or go home. I just started buying stuff cash. I had a lender where they said, as long as you cover 25% down payment, we don't check nothing. No bank statement, no credit, no nothing. I said, shoot. So I'm buying $300,000 properties, 25% down. Y'all do the math. But I'm buying a property or 2 or 3 every single month. Couple 100,000 go to 5,000 real fast. And I'm like, you know what? House going to kick back next month. The sale going to happen next month. The refinance going to happen next month. Next month go to 2 months. 2 months go to 4. 4 go to 8. So now it doesn't kick back as fast as I thought. And to correlate to some of you guys that maybe just being, not in real estate, but in business, someone sells 5 t-shirts, they say, man, we good. Let's go ahead and buy 1,000 t-shirts and try to sell them. And they're like, dang, I can't sell as many t-shirts I thought, but all my money is in my inventory. So just be mindful of how you guys are scaling too fast. It's okay to buy one property at a time. It's okay to start one business at a time. It's okay to just have a little bit of inventory until you get rid of it. Then you can go ahead and reinvest. But, having that kind of money and just blowing it all in that first load, it sometimes doesn't come back as fast as you wanted it to. And then there you in a little bit of jam. So you can't go broke from over-investing. So invest correctly at your pace. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing.
That's game.
Yeah. They said everything. It's very, very powerful. And I just want to add just a little bit to it, right? Because yes, you got to structure your business the right way. You got to look good on paper. A lot of times we want to skip steps. We can't skip steps. We got to actually do the work the right way. But the next step that's very important is what Boone said, mentorship. I need everybody say mentorship. Because it will cost you. What you don't know will cost you. So a lot of times, I'm going to hold on to this 10,000, this 5,000, whatever that is, and let me go do it myself, and then you're going to end up losing $50,000, $100,000. Ask me how you know. How you know? Because I did the same thing. I didn't want to pay for mentorship, and I got out there and I lost $15,000 because something in the contract, I basically signed off only on a 7-day due diligence. These are things that if I had a mentor, would have told me, no, you need to make sure you have 45-day due diligence. So now I lost my earnings money deposit, right? $15,000 I could have just paid to get mentorship. So that's very, very important. Once we have mentorship, now you have somebody that has been where you've been. Can I tell y'all the fastest way to get rich and make money? Can I tell y'all that? It's to find somebody that already did what you're looking to do, pay them what exactly they're looking for, and do exactly what they say consistently. That's it. We overcomplicate. That's the truth, right? Because that's exactly what I've done. Find a person that is doing what you're doing or want to do, and then do exactly that thing. Because now that you have a blueprint and you see that it works, and somebody to help guide you in the blind spots that you may not see, you can now 10x. This is where we start to take on debt. See, debt, it could be the best thing in your life or it could be the worst thing in your life. And I say this, debt is not a math problem, it's a behavior problem. Because we don't really know how to manage it, we're not disciplined, we don't really understand what's going on with our business, so we take on the money and we don't change our habits, right? But if you have the right habits, if you got the right systems, if you have a proof of concept of what actually works, yes, I'm going to take on some debt. So I'm going to take the $10,000 that I may have, and I'm going to go and open up a secured loan, which I can put up $10,000, go to Bank of America and say, hey, here go $10,000, and they'll give you $10,000 to match that as a secured loan. But what we're doing is building a relationship with these banks. And now we're able to turn our money into more money, and then we obviously go invest in different strategies. But, that's what I need to add.
Now that's game. That's game. And one of the key takeaways is definitely mentorship. I still remember when me and Cody went out to Philly to interview Boone, and we like, Boone, you got any contract horror stories? He's like, nah, I don't got none. I'm like, how? I had a mentor. But now that goes to show, mentorships could really save you from those headaches and those loopholes, and you getting burnt early on when you're starting off. So now I do want to pivot. I know a lot of people here too, you got jobs, you got 9-to-5s. Some people have their 401ks. How living in America, how they kind of put it is you retire at 65, right? So you work for all these years, you got all this money saved up in your 401k, and then you realize that you kind of got, I don't want to say the S word, but you kind of got scammed, because then later on you turn 65, you got all this money saved up, and it's just like, you still might have to go back working, or you're going to have to live super frugal. So what are some ways that people could really maximize on their 401k, or even if they still at their jobs right now, what are some ways they could use that 401k to really create some wealth, some money, get some passive income? I know you mentioned buying businesses. What are some of y'all guys' strategies?
But raise your hand if you have a 401k. All right, I'm gonna tell y'all, this is just my opinion, right? And what I've actually been through myself. I worked in corporate for 6 years at Pepsi, and I had money in my 401k. At the 6-year mark, it was like $45,000. And in 2020, what happened? What was the biggest thing that changed the world? The pandemic, COVID, right? And raise your hand if you looked at your 401k and it damn near disappeared. It dropped down like 50%, 60%. Like, what's happening with my money? So at that point, I realized that I actually need to be in control of the money that I'm actually working for, because the truth is, America is like the biggest marketer, number one marketer. They tell you, work 20, 30 years, and you're gonna put your money in this 401k, and then at 59 and a half, you can get this money out. It's a trap, right? Because at 59 and a half, you're gonna get taxed on that money. So let's just do some math, right? Let's say you work 20 years, and you've been putting money into this 401k consistently, and you got $200,000 at 59 and a half. Now you're gonna pay taxes on the growth of the money. So let's just say you had a 25% tax bracket. What's 25% of 200,000? What my mathematicians at? How much? 50,000. Yeah, we're gonna make money. Y'all gonna make money for sure. So that's $50,000 that's going immediately, right out the gate. Then you're talking about 20 years, inflation, cost of living. You're really walking away with $100,000. So when you really look at it, you pretty much traded your time and worked for free for about 10, 15 years. That don't make sense. So what I decided to do, and that's why I said it's my recommendation. I wouldn't say this is what you need to do. It depends on your risk tolerance. But when I actually quit my job at Pepsi, I pulled that money out of my 401k. Yes, I paid penalties and there was some taxes I had to pay on it, but I was okay with losing a little bit of money on the front end because I knew that I could make way more money over 20 years, me controlling and investing versus leaving it in this vehicle. So the vehicle that I just said earlier, I utilized insurance. So I took the money out of my 401k and I put it into insurance, and then I went and borrowed against my insurance to go buy a 6-unit apartment building, and I paid $110,000 for that apartment building. I still have it today. It's worth $575,000. So if I would have left that money in my 401k, I wouldn't be making the money off that one building, right? So that's what I would share.
Now, let me ask you a follow-up question to that. So I'm pretty sure some people may know and some people might not know. What's the step-by-step strategy to really using life insurance to build wealth? Because you and your family, you guys have monthly meetings, yearly meetings, quarterly meetings, and you guys are doing susus and all kinds of stuff. Like, what's the step-by-step strategy on really using these products like life insurance, 401ks to be able to build wealth?
So this is why I say mentorship is important. Again, I'm gonna just tell you exactly what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. A lot of people that's in the insurance business, and my brother is actually, I'm not a licensed financial advisor by no means, but my brother is my licensed financial advisor. And so this is what we do as a family. That's why we have this wealthy experience. So every single year, we have what we call as our family legacy meeting, where I come together with my family and we have meetings just like this. Not as big, it's only a small group of us. Everybody can't go, right? And we have conversations around building wealth, financial literacy, and investing. And what we do is called a susu. Raise your hand if you're familiar with a susu. That's good. So we have a family susu, and we invest, let's say we put up $200 a month each person. So every single month, we take the pot, but we invest towards somebody's financial development. So this one month, we took the money and we invested so my brother could go get his certification and be a financial advisor and get his life insurance license, right? The next month, we took the money and my dad, he actually went and got his certification to be a private money broker. So now he brokers all of our deals when we buy real estate. My brother does all of our life insurance policies. The next month, we invest so that my aunt can start fixing her credit up, because we know in about 12 months, we want to get with you and go get some funding. All right, next month, but every single month, ultimately, we're investing towards somebody's financial development, whether it's mentorship, training, licenses, whatever we need, because we don't want to rely on nobody else. We want to build our own house. We're going to build our own financial foundation. So being that my brother is a licensed financial advisor, he actually drew up this entire blueprint for me. So the exact step-by-step, you have different policies, but I'll give you one example on whole life, right? So you have a whole life policy, and the insurance agent, they have to design it a specific way. Because these big companies, these big insurance companies, they train their agents the way they want to train them to get the most money. So when you have the maximum, like death benefit, that is when the agents get the biggest commission. But if you design it to where you get more cash value, you get a little bit of a less death benefit, but you focus more on the cash value. So for example, if I have money in my 401k, I pull that money out. I put $100,000 into this life insurance policy that has this cash value. In 30 days, I'm gonna go to another bank and I'm gonna say, and I'll give you an example. This is the exact bank that we work with. It's called Merrick Bank. Go to Merrick Bank and I say, hey, Merrick Bank, I have this $100,000 into this whole life policy. I would like to get a life equity line of credit. They know about this product. You have to know which banks know this product. And Merrick Bank is going to give you a line of credit for that. Maybe they might give you $90,000 or $100,000 depending on the how old the policy is. But let's say you get $90,000. Now it's a line of credit against that policy. Now, the money that's in the policy as cash value is growing compounded interest because you're never touching it. That's the strategy. So I invested my money, I parked it, it's going to grow, but I'm able to leverage it to go get another $100,000 or $90,000 that I'm going to utilize to invest. And that's simply how we do it. So I invest that $100,000, and this is what I actually did maybe about 3 months ago. I bought a storage facility, right? Bought a partner in, my partner put up $100,000, I put up $100,000. I pulled the money out of my insurance policy. And I bought the storage facility. The storage facility pays back the line of credit plus profits. But I'm making my money work for me multiple times. That's what we want to do. See, we want to make sure that our money is working harder for us than we're working for it. We want to have our money make money babies, right? Somebody say money babies. Money babies. That's what we want to do. So hopefully that gave you a step-by-step blueprint in regards to insurance.
Thank you. Definitely did.
Everybody say smart friends. Everybody say smart friends.
Smart.
You gotta have some smart friends because that was some guy. I hope they ain't go over nobody head. That was some real game.
Yeah.
That's a fact. So now, how many people in here are parents right now? Just want to see by a show of hands. All right, cool. So how many of you guys ever heard the term, I will do anything or I will die for my kids? Anybody ever heard that before? So now the question that I want to ask you guys is, since people would die for their children, what's some of the things that they can do now to go ahead and build wealth for their children, create more income streams for their children, pass on wealth for their children? Because there's a lot of parents in the room. There's a lot of grandparents probably as well. But what's some of those things that they can do to start building wealth for their children and, pass on good stuff to them?
I think what's more important, not just passing down like assets and wealth, but passing down knowledge too. A lot of people who's talking about this on the podcast are my best customers. Someone passes down your house, you don't know what to do with it, so you sell a half price to me. So a lot of people are getting wealth passed down to them, but what they say, wealth doesn't go past the second generation. It gets passed down to the next person, and then they sell it to somebody like me, half price, because they got it, they didn't know what to do with it, they don't know how to keep up with it, or it was passed down incorrectly, so now they have all this tax, fees, mortgages, all these things on the property. Where now, imagine if, I understand, imagine you got a property and now you got there's no roof on top of the house, but it still has a $50,000 mortgage, and then it has these back taxes. Now it's to the point where it's like, I might as well just get rid of it. Correct. But this is what happens all the time, and then I come in and I know it's worth $400,000, so I just say, look, I take that problem and make it mine. But I think the biggest thing is, like, we understand when you're talking about, utilizing life insurance and, I'm talking about buying real estate, but I think it's more important to make sure while you're on this journey, make sure your child is on this journey with you. I think that's the most important thing because, one, they're going to respect it. Some of us are waiting until we perfect before we actually start bringing people along the journey. Bring them along there so they can see the hard work you're doing. I know this lady, she actually invests with her 2 sons. She learned it right along with them. She brought both of them on a class with me, and they start buying properties together. And I thought that was dope because they're learning together. But make sure you're not only just passing down assets, because every single one of you guys are going to be buying a property and eventually pass it down, but also passing down the knowledge and information so someone like me doesn't come on and buy it off of your child because they got it and they said, look, I don't want this, or I don't know how to manage this, or this just costs too much.
That's good. I would say, number one, make sure that your family is set. So whatever it takes for your child or for your loved ones to function, whatever is that number, then you need to have a life insurance policy that will be able to have that number. So if you are the breadwinner, we need to have a life insurance policy so the kids, grandma, your spouse, we can pay off the house. They can still stay in their neighborhood, go to their go to their school, whatever, college is, that number is set aside so that they're good. Next, we need to, like Boone said, teach them. But the best way of teaching them is, I believe, showing them. So if you want to talk about a budget, like show them hands-on how much things cost, how do you manage your money. If you're an entrepreneur like me, show them what working is. Like my son is here. Stand up, Corey, and wave. So Corey has his own trash can cleaning business, right? You want some extra Roblox? Here's your budget. Anything over that, you got to go get it. A lot of times we want to baby our kids. We want to give them everything. My parents gave me the world. And then when I became an adult, I'm like, this is ghetto out here. You have to work. What is all of this? And I had like a whole little reality shock, right? So I want my kids to now know, like, no, you have to go out here and work. So you have to get up, go do something to be able to earn the income. So it's not just setting them up. It's making sure that they're able to then duplicate that. But before you go and just do something, you need to understand everything. So investing in mentorship, investing in being in rooms like this, learning what are all the different tools. There's 1,000 different tools that you can use to build generational wealth. What do you feel comfortable in? And then once you feel comfortable doing it, you have to execute it. Don't wait and, well, mama, what you think? Mama don't have no plan. So you never want to get advice from someone that you wouldn't change bank accounts with. So once you understand this is the tool I can vibe with, go maximize that tool and just go run that up. So if it's real estate, if it's insurance, if it's having business or whatever that is, go run that up. When you want to be independent of any kind of 401k, any kind of thing that can go away, because that's not a guarantee.
And I want to add, I'm going to give you two things, right? This is what really impacted me, is environment. Somebody say environment. I remember when I was younger, my dad used to take me to events like this. And I used to just sit in the audience. I really didn't understand what was going on, but the seeds were planted. So as I continuously grow, now I'm starting to connect the dots. Oh, they was up there talking about business, and they was making offers and all these different things. They started to connect the dots, right? As I said earlier, my dad made me read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right? These are different things that we want to make sure we have our children do, because they know how to swipe through the iPad quick, right? They know how to use the iPhone. Well, we need to make sure that we actually put the resources in front of them so that they can learn. And I want to give y'all one more thing in regards to insurance. You ready for this? So what you want to do, and you get with your family, you got to have some family that you trust, all right? You don't trust them, they got to work that out. But you're going to get the oldest person in the family that has the best health. And you're going to get a term insurance policy on that person. Term is the most affordable policy. And let's say you get a $10 million policy. Let's say it costs you $3,000, $5,000 for the year. You and 3, 4, 5 people, whoever's on this journey with you, y'all can split that cost. So let's say it's 3 of you, you split the cost to be able to cover the insurance for this person in your family. And we know at the end of the day, I'm just be honest with y'all. Can I be honest with y'all? I grew up where somebody passed away, it was a fish fry. It was a GoFundMe. It was people stressed out. We didn't even have the money to bury my grandmother. And then we finally had to figure stuff out, and family trying to come up with money, we fighting. I'm like, that traumatized me. So if I know that we gotta go someday, I'd rather invest and at the end of the day pass down some wealth, right or wrong. But it's like taboo. We scared to have these conversations, but we need to get over that. But that's what I would advise y'all. This is what we've done in our family, right? You get the oldest person that has the best health, get a term insurance policy. We all pitch in to cover that policy, but we know we pass it down wealth to our next generation along with the information. You got that?
I do. Hold on. Before you pass it over. So here's the reality. Some people may say, hey, listen, like, are you guys trying to do something? Like, how do they get over that objection to be able to actually convince them to do that, to create that insurance policy?
So number one, we're not convincing anybody. That's what we're not doing, right? We can't force somebody. We can't want it more for them than they want it for themselves. You have to be the reflection. You have to be the leader. You have to go out there and actually show up. So I break it down in 3 principles, right? The 3 I's. The first I is information, which means getting a mentorship, learning, studying, becoming an expert at these strategies. Because if you bring it to your family and you stutter it and you're like, oh, get out of here, ASAP. So definitely get the information. Number 2 is going to be integrity. Because now that you have the information, you need to be a man or woman of your word and then execute on what you learn. How many of us get a bunch of information and resources and we sit on it? Let's be honest. I've done it. Now everybody execute. Oh, that's what I'm talking about, right? But we definitely need to make sure, okay, if I'm learning, let me show up and let me actually have some integrity. And you start going to events like this and you posting pictures. I remember when I started traveling, going to Miami and to Vegas for different conferences. Now all my family and friends are like, yo, what you got going on over there? What you doing? Now everybody want to see what you're doing because they see that you are actually transforming. Your body language, the way you communicate. They see how you are actually becoming somebody different. And then the third thing is going to be impact. So how could you add value to your family? We can't just go to them and just say, hey, look, I need you to do X, Y, and Z. You need to figure out how can I add value. So I have family members that's actually in the room right now. I ain't going to put them on a blast like that. But the value is, all right, look, you got a great job. You make money. Cool. How could I add value? Look, I just want to make some additional passive income because I love what I got going on. No problem. How about we get you some credit? We're going to invest together, and I'll make sure you make passive income every single month. He gets paid every single month in his sleep. That's the value. But you have some family members like, they want to be a part of it. Okay, you want to be a part of this? What value can you provide, right? How could you actually add to what we got going on? Find out what moves the needle for each person. Just take that time and find that out. And if you could help them get their goals included in your mission, that's how everything's going to come together. Those 3 R's: information, integrity, and impact.
I really hope y'all caught what Ramel said, you know what I mean? Because if you guys look at the back, it says the wealthy experience, right? Part of keeping wealth is keeping that money going for generations. So that's why I'm going to jump to Joy, and I'm going to ask Joy, like, how, when it comes to planning trust and estate planning and doing these things to protect your asset, how important is that to a family?
Sorry to break this amazing episode. I just have to let you guys know the best tool for marketing in 2025 is podcasting. Listen, it transformed our lives. Across all platforms, we was able to hit 15 million plus people. Imagine what it did for our business. To mention, we also have some notable likes just through podcasting. People like Usain Bolt, Dwayne Wade, Kevin Garnett, Stephen A. Smith,
Cedric the Entertainer, Queen Latifah. But more importantly, having engagement by your dream clients is probably the most important thing that will move the needle for you and your business. So what we want to teach you is exactly how to go out and start creating amazing content that will find your dream audience to go ahead and start paying you for your products and your services. So if you want to be able to learn exactly how to build up an audience and build up a brand online where people start knowing you, liking you, and buying from you for your products and services, what I want to do is invite you guys to our next free masterclass where we're showing you exactly how you can start taking your content and being seen online by your dream clients and possibly some celebrities as well. Go ahead and click the link down below, and I'm going to see you guys in that next masterclass.
That is everything, because you work so hard to acquire the wealth. You are acquiring it and sacrificing it, thinking that it's going to help my kids, it's going to help my grandkids, but if you don't transfer it correctly, sometimes you lose it. So a couple of estate planning bases would be number 1, you need to have a beneficiary on your bank account. So when you die, the money just sits in your account. So if you have an asset like a home that has a mortgage, you may have the money in your bank account to pay the mortgage, but if no one can access those funds, they're not going to be able to pay the mortgage. That's how assets get tied up in probate. If you have a will, the will has to go through probate court, which is going to be 6 months to a year. So your heirs, your beneficiaries don't get that asset. They have to wait, they have to pay an attorney, probate court. If Kiki and them cussing and fussing, that's going to be longer, right? So a lot of times assets get dissipated just in the probate process. So you want to, number one, have a beneficiary in your bank account, someone that you trust, not no one that has a bingo problem, right? So upon your death, they can get that money and pay whatever needs to be paid. You want to have what's called an irrevocable living trust. That trust will, upon your death, your heirs get your assets immediately. However, while you're alive, that kind of trust does not give you any kind of asset protection. So it protects your assets by giving them immediately upon your death, but while you are alive, it doesn't give you any protection. So a trust that gives you protection is going to be called the irrevocable living trust. That's the bulletproof trust. The benefit of that trust also is any asset you pass on to your heirs, it remains your heirs' separate property. So if you pass on your real estate portfolio to your son and he married the wrong one and they got divorced, she ain't getting nothing because it stays his separate property. Right. But once you put the asset in the irrevocable trust, you can't touch it either. So a lot of times business owners, they got to zig and zag. I may need to kind of get a collateral loan using this property. You may not like that trust. So a holding company may be something you want to use as far as asset protection. Have an irrevocable trust, so upon your death, your assets get passed on to your loved ones. You can have in your trust where the revocable trust becomes an irrevocable trust upon your death. So now your beneficiaries' assets are protected from marriage or divorce. You can also rule from the grave. So you can put parameters on when your heirs can access the assets, how much they can use. So like my son is going to sell anything to get him a Corvette. So you can put things like they can't sell the asset, they can only spend X amount of money. And you also want to make sure that you have a financial power of attorney and a medical power of attorney, someone that's going to make decisions regarding your body and then your finances that may not be the same person. So I would say having those things. And last, what's called a pour over will. In case you acquire an asset that you haven't quite put it in your trust and you die, then it says any asset I own upon my death will immediately go to my trust. So having a living trust, a pour over will, a bank beneficiary, medical power of attorney, financial power of attorney, and then an irrevocable trust upon your death.
That's a lot of game right there. Jeez. I do want to ask Ramel too, when it comes to buying businesses, right? What are some, I know you mentioned some of them, but what are some other creative like financing strategies that people could use to acquire these businesses? Like,
great question. So what holds us most people back is they think they need a bunch of money to get started, right? Like raise your hand if you feel like you need a bunch of money to get started buying businesses. There's a few ways. I talked about insurance. Another way is called seller financing, right? That's where you'll be able to approach a seller and you'll be able to negotiate a certain price point and say, hey, look, you're going to act as the bank. So instead of me going to Bank of America, Wells Fargo, or any traditional institution, the seller is going to hold that note for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, whatever term that you agree to, or whatever interest rate. A lot of business owners are doing this. A lot of sellers are selling their properties and offering seller financing because if you sell your business, you get hit with what is called capital gains tax. And a lot of business owners just don't want to give away 30, 40% of their money. They want to have a strategy on, okay, how am I going to create a tax plan, a tax saving plan over the next couple of years, knowing I'm going to sell this, but at the same time they get interest payments, so they're making money, and they're also in a position to strategize whatever tax strategy they want to implement. So we got seller financing. We also have the SBA. It's called the 7A loan. It's a small business loan. 10% down, you can buy any small business up to $5 million, and then there's a different program with the 504 that goes up to 15 or 20 million, I think. So you got the SBA, you got seller financing, you have insurance, you have conventional financing, you have credit cards, you have 401ks, private equity. A lot of us, you may own a home. If you got money in your house, right? Go get a HELOC, pull that money out, let it work for you. Don't have your money just sitting in the house have it work for you multiple times. That's the entire blueprint. We want to make sure that our money is working for us multiple times.
It's very good. So I want to ask Boone a question now, because the last time we did a podcast with Boone was back in probably December 2024, November 2024. So Boone took us around the entire Philadelphia, showed us a lot of his properties, showed us what he has going on. And one of the properties that he took us to was his self-storage, not the self-storage, I'm sorry, the event space. And then he said, yo, my mom actually manages this property. And then he was like, yo, she told me the other day that she actually left her job and I didn't even know. So what's one of those strategies that people can retire and actually make income outside of, the typical income that they will be making, like Social Security and other, forms of income?
So one of the things that we do in our real estate business is we have an event space. A lot of people think of having a real estate or just business in general. How many people heard of the saying 7 streams of income? Raise your hand. A lot of people feel like, 7 streams of income, I need to do 7 totally different things. I need to sell hair over here. I need to go have a car business over here. I need to do real estate over here. I need to be an astronaut over here. I need to do 7 totally different things. Well, for me, I believe in you don't need to get on multiple different highways. You just find one highway with a bunch of different lanes. It's easy to go from lane to lane versus highway to highway. So what we do is we have Airbnbs, we have VRBOs, we have event space, all within the real estate business. So at our event space, we pretty much have events. I have my own events. I have an office there. And we just have a lot of different things going on within inside of that one building. But to answer your question, as far as finding different ways that make multiple streams of income, I believe in you can bring your loved ones or your family members or your friends into the business because everything doesn't require certification. Everything doesn't require for you to be the lawyer into. So for me, what I have my little cousins do, when I do a project, I have a line item that says demo, or I have clean out. So I'll have the company, demo company do the demo, but I'll make my little cousins come and do weekly cleans. Hey, sweep up, take the trash out, things like that. That might be $100, $200, $300 for them to do their job. I'm going to pay somebody anyway. And it's not like they have to be a master electrician and learn how to sweep. And another thing is in reference to the business, like even for my mom, I add her in to help me with property management. These are little things that you guys can do to bring other people that you love into your business. So for example, we just enrolled a new tenant the other day. I just let her, she's the one that met the tenant out. And then actually she has a better, what's the word I'm looking for? Rapport conscious. She can really feel them up. She told me, yeah, this is what's really going on. This is what's really going on. This is really going on. I probably wouldn't have seen that. Women, y'all have that sixth sense. Really can tell the tenants and call it out way before something actually happens. So intuition, exactly. So now that third eye. So now I bring in my mom or bring in other individuals to go ahead and be that, bring that person for me, but it doesn't require me to do any more extra work, if that makes sense. Raise your hand, that makes sense. So these are little things I do. And as far as the event space, I believe everybody in here, if they're trying to get into a real estate business and they don't have, hundreds of thousands of dollars or tens or 20 thousands of dollars sitting, event space this is event space. This is a warehouse. They just turned into a space. I love the event space model because all you need is 4 walls and a floor. Look at the floor we're on right now. It's not vinyl, it's not tile. It's literally the floor that was already here, and this place is amazing. And people are paying a lot of money to go in and have events here. For our first event space we ever had, we literally went ahead and just so when in real estate we do something called laminating. We're just taking new sheetrock and put it on top of the old sheetrock. Or we do something called skim coating, where we put a whole bunch of spackle, smear it on the walls, and then sand the walls to look like brand new sheetrock. Our first event space, that's what we did. Painted all the walls white, put down new floors, and then we were charging $800 to $1,000 for 4 hours. Literally, they only took a couple $1,000s to put that venue together, and we got that off of a line of credit. So these are little things that you guys can do to go ahead and put somebody in. And then now, my mom, she really loves that business, where now I love the event space business because it's self-marketed. Right now, it's some of you guys, at least one person in here is like, wow, this is a great venue. I can have my next thing here. So now when we have, baby showers, when we have birthday parties, when we have weddings, when we have these different types of things, it's always one person that comes back 3 or 6 months later and say, hey, I was at such and such event. I want to have one here just like how they did. So now things like that, you don't have to have the best marketer in the world to go ahead and make money in that business. If you guys do 2 events a week, that's an extra $2,000 or $3,000, not including any upsells, chairs, linens, things like that, which can really change the dynamic. You think about 3, 6, 9, 12, that could be extra $12,000 a month that you guys can make from that business model, from that business. And it doesn't require, a master electrician, the best banker in the world to go ahead and run that kind of business, because people coming in, they already know what they want. Hey, here's our space, here's our room, we offer this, we offer this, we offer this. Do you want to buy it? Do you want to pay? And it's as simple as that. So I believe in adding friends and family that are qualified. I'm talking mentally qualified to go ahead and work with you. Like for me, I bring in my mom, bring in my sister, bring in my brother, and allow them to go ahead and make money on things that I was going to pay for anyway.
Yo, how many of y'all got some value tonight? Like, just put your hand up. Like, I'm pretty sure they gave you guys a lot of game right now. I do want to just close off by just asking like this last question. If you guys was to give one advice to every single person in this room about building wealth, what advice would you give them?
I would say focus on doing something where you can go ahead and make some money every single day. A lot of times people think that it takes so much money to start building generational wealth. I got to go buy this big old thing. What can you get into right now to make you an extra $1,000 a day? $1,000 a month. Break down whatever is your income goal into a small amount. So it may be I just start renting a property and doing an event space. So the event space brings me an extra $1,000 a month. Now you have an extra $12,000 for the year over what you're already making. Now you in the game. See, a lot of times we sit on the sidelines waiting to get in the game. Go get in the game. Small money adds up. So if I rent one store, one place to do an event center, making an extra $1,000 a month. If I go rent 3 of them, now I'm making an extra $3,000. See, once you get in the game and you realize what's working, now we can scale that. And as you scale it, number one, you're making more money, but as you're scaling it, as you're in your new venture, you're bumping elbows with other people. So now I'm not just Joy that has the 9 to 5. I'm Joy that has the 9 to 5, and I got 2 event space. And then someone who came to my event space has a lead to this big real estate project. I got me an extra $36,000 just sitting there. Now I can invest. So I would say start today. Do something today that will make you an extra $1,000, $5,000. It may not be the amount that you're wanting in your head, but it's going to be that seed money to go ahead and start. And then as you have some seed money, some planning money, now you're able to execute higher level things to be able to generate generational wealth.
The thing I would say is, matter of fact, everybody say this with me. I have more than enough.
I am more than enough.
I need a lot. Everybody say, I have more than enough.
I have more than enough.
I love social media because it inspires people, but also I hate social media because it paralyzes people. You guys will see someone like myself, Ramel, Joy, and they say, hey, they doing all this type of stuff. I have to wait to get to that point so I can go ahead and start. I'm telling you guys, you have more than enough with what you have right now. The first thing I would say is go home and really sit there and put all your cards on the table. Okay, this is my credit score. This is what I have in my savings. I have my checking. This is what I have in Bitcoin. This is what I have in retirement. This is what I have 401k. Lay everything out. This is what my job do. This is what skill set I have. These are what connections I have. I'm talking about lay every single thing out and play the card, the hand that you dealt, and start piecing things together. Because you may not have the best credit, but then your brother may have an 800 credit score. Okay, that's a resource I can use to go ahead and get started. Okay, you may not have a whole bunch of money in your checking, but you may have a whole bunch of money in your 401k. Okay, that's a resource I can go and use. Okay, I may not have, a lot of money in my checking account, but I have an 800 credit score, a 750 credit score. Okay, that's a resource I can use. You know what? I have an extra couple $1,000 sitting around right now. You know what? I may not have 100,000, but this is enough to go ahead and get the ball started. And I think a lot of people, they'll say, I'll wait till I get I met this, somebody had DM'd me, they said they wanted to buy a house, right? So I just gave them some information, and no lie, I gave them a lender, I gave them a little bit of information. They bought a house 45 days later. And the thing was, they said, I thought I needed an 800 score. I thought I needed 50,000 saved in order to go and buy a house. She had about $7,000 to her name, and she had a 720 credit score. The third thing is get around people that know more than you. I sent her a lender. She got on the phone with the lender. The lender blew her mind and said, I mean, you actually right where you at right now. Found a house that same week, bought it that next month. So get around people that actually know a little bit more than you, that can actually evaluate your situation, whether that's a lender, whether that's a financial advisor, whether that's a mentor that can really sit and look at your whole deck and say, you know what, you do have something that's going on right now. You know, we meet people all the time that end up buying houses, starting business, buying storage facilities that would have never thought they could because they were looking at the deck halfway. Look at your whole field and also allow someone else to look at your field as well. And now you can realize like, oh shoot, I do have something I can play. I do have a spade. I can actually win this. I can actually do something with what I have. You may not have everything, but I promise you right now, if I sat down with each and every single one of y'all, I promise you I can make every single person here an extra few $1,000s or buy an extra property with what you have now. I promise you that.
So the most powerful thing in the world is a made-up mind. So the first thing you have to do is really just make that decision. How many of us, by show of hands, when you made your mind up to do something, nobody can tell you otherwise, right? You say, I'm about to do this, it don't matter who's saying it, you already made your mind up. That's how you have to operate when it comes to success, when it comes to entrepreneurship, is really making up your mind. That's the most powerful decision, the most powerful thing in the world. I want everybody to repeat after me. I want y'all to say, wealth is spiritual.
Wealth is spiritual.
Say, wealth is spiritual.
Wealth is spiritual.
Because the truth is, no matter what we do, a lot of times we chasing the money, we want to chase the business, but really we need to have that spiritual alignment. That's very important. I need everybody to say GPS.
GPS.
See, GPS stands for God's positioning system because you are right where you're supposed to be. You are right where you're supposed to be in this room, but we cannot take it for granted. When we are in these rooms like this, or we see a blessing, a lot of times, like, I want everybody to know it's not a coincidence that you're here right now, it's confirmation. All right, because again, you're right where you're supposed to be, so just stay focused, stay on that path, and you're gonna look up and be like, man, I just bought 10 houses, like, whoa, let me hold something. They bought a couple $, but that's really what I want to leave with everybody today. Just understand at the end of the day, we can chase the money, but if we don't have that personal development, we don't have that mindset, we don't have that spiritual development, nothing else is gonna matter.
Well, did you guys enjoy this? I definitely agree. So listen, as I said before, you know, we interviewed all three of them, right? And they have gained value to our audience, right? So what we want to do is we want to give value to you guys, you know, for the people that are here, because podcasting is something that literally helped us grow, you know, our relationships, our audience, and also our business as well. So is it okay if I give you guys some value before we leave? Because every time I go to a conference, I always gain some kind of value. Is it okay if we give you guys something? All right, cool. So what I want to do is, as you guys are here, just open up your Instagram app. Pull up our profile. Yeah. Pull up your profile. Go to Instagram. Type in motion and success. Once you guys get there, say got it. Motion and success. Got it? All right, cool. So go ahead and press message and DM us the word Philly, right? We're going to go ahead and give you guys some gifts, showing you guys exactly how you can use podcasting to grow your business. Because a lot of times some people say, hey, listen, I don't have any people to market to. I don't have any strategies to go out there and get my message out there. Podcasting is literally something that you guys can use to go ahead and grow your business. So just go ahead and type the word Philly, and then it's going to go ahead and send you a few prompts and then fill it out. And listen, that's my gift from you guys because I enjoyed this conversation today. Again, who enjoyed today's conversation? Just let me know one last time.
Make some noise, make some noise, make some noise.
There we go.
You want to bring it right now?
Yeah.
Hold up. Wait, before we close up, we got another addition to the podcast. So my good friend Joy Hunt has an amazing son that has an amazing business that we want to go ahead and bring him up and just ask him 1 or 2 questions. That's cool with you, bro? Come on, everybody give him a round of applause. Oh, he's smooth with it too. Go ahead.
Ramel's asking the question.
First, introduce yourself, let them know your name, and how old are you?
I'm 12, and my name is Corey.
His name is Corey, he's 12, so I know you have a business. So can you let us know the name of your business and what is the service that you provide?
We clean trash cans, and it's me and my friend's business that we clean trash cans.
Bring the mic closer, bring it closer.
We clean trash cans, and it's me and my friend's business.
So he has a trash can business. I need y'all to clap it up for him. How old are you again?
12.
He's 12 years old. This is what we talk about, building family wealth and legacy. This is what it's about. So I'm going to ask you another question. What made you start that business? Like, where did the idea come from? How did you get started?
To make money.
What you going to do with the money?
Buy games and stuff.
We go buy games. I'm super proud of you. So I guess my last question is going to be, what do you want to be when you get older?
Basketball player.
Nice. What position do you play?
Small forward.
Yeah, small forward. Everybody show some love. Show boys some love. Good work.
Good job, Corey.
In real time. All right, cool. So what we good, bro? How we doing? All right, so what we gonna do, we gonna have everybody stand up. So can y'all stand up? Let's get it. How we, this way? All right, so on what we gonna do, I'm gonna say wealthy, and y'all gonna say experience, and we gonna say it loud, and we gonna record it, all right? Did y'all have a good time? Yeah. Nah, I think they sleepy. I think they tired. They ready to go to bed. Did y'all have a good time? Yeah. All right, so when I say wealthy, y'all say experience. Wealthy. Yeah. Wealthy. Yeah. All right, that's just to make sure y'all voice box is working. So we're gonna do this officially, and we're gonna turn around. We're gonna look to the camera, and I want you to actually do it, Jer, because you're in the middle. So you say wealthy, and then they're gonna say experience.
Okay. Wealthy.
Experience.
Wealthy.
Experience.
Wealthy.
Experience.
Woo!
That wasn't it. I'll be honest with y'all. We're going to do this one more time, all right? So Joy going to say wealthy experience 3 times. After the 3rd time, we just going to make a bunch of noise like I got so much value here. I got that? All right, cool. Let's do it one more time.
Wealthy.
Experience.
Wealthy.
Experience.
Wealthy.
Experience. Hold on, wait. We got one more thing.
All right, so I want y'all to stay standing up. If you feel like this is super valuable and you feel like you need more of this type of information, more of this experience, more of the support, more of the resources, I need y'all to raise your hands. I don't see anybody with their hands up. I need y'all to raise your hands. So what we want to present is an opportunity for you to be able to learn more with us and really be able to take what you learned today to that next level. If y'all ready for that, I need y'all to say ready. If y'all ready for that, I need y'all to say ready. So we would be doing you a disservice if we had this major, massive, powerful networking event and not give you an opportunity to join us to learn more. So we are having a mentorship week, our Wealthy Experience Mentorship Week. It's for a full week where we're going to get together and we're going to go more in detail with insurance. We're going to go in detail in real estate. We're going to talk about estate planning. We have a bunch of special guests. We're making sure that we take these complex terms and concepts and we want to simplify it and make it accessible for everybody to be able to go out there and build wealth. So put your hands up right now if you're ready for that opportunity. You want to join us for a mentorship week. Now this is a free event, right? This mentorship week is an investment of only $397, y'all. I need y'all to make some noise for that. Because you got three of us that decided to come together that made a bunch of money together, a bunch of impact together, but we said we want to send the elevator back down because y'all heard our stories. We know what it felt like when we was on the come up looking for somebody to give us a hand up. Not a hand out, somebody that was going to send the elevator back down so that we could pour back into each other. So this mentorship week starts November 9th. November 9th through the 14th is a full week. Myself, Joy Hunt, and Derek Boone for only $397. But what we're going to do, can we put the QR codes up? And we're going to put the QR codes up, and there's some QR codes actually on these banners right here, on these standees. Only for tonight, what you're going to do is when you go and scan that QR code, you're going to put in the code word legacy. I need y'all to say legacy. Legacy. Once you put that code word legacy in there, you're going to get $100 off, so it's only going to be an investment of $297. Now, this is the truth. This was a free event. And we had about, 1,200 people registered for this free event? And we looked in this room, was probably half of that. The reason why the other half didn't show up because it was free. There was nothing attached to it. They ain't had nothing to lose. It was no paying. See, when we pay attention, right? But y'all the action takers that showed up, and that's why we're giving you this extended opportunity to be able to spend more time with us at this affordable investment in yourself. So we're going to put the QR codes up on the board one more time. We're going to put the QR codes up on the board. So what? All right, cool. And we want to be able to help you get to that next level. That's really what this is about. So I'm super excited. And if y'all going to be a part of that, I need y'all to make some noise if y'all going to be a part of that.